a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is BJ.
And my name is Mitu.
And this week, we're watching Not Suitable for Work on Hulu, Best of the World with Antoni Porowski on National Geographic, Alice and Steve on Hulu, and Cape Fear on Apple TV.
So stay tuned to the end to find out what city BJ would want to give a global tour of.
Oh, I think we both know the answer.
Fair.
In the meantime, can you tell us what's happening in Manhattan?
Yes. In Not Suitable for Work on Hulu, we follow 5 work-obsessed 20-somethings who strive for professional success and, if they have time, personal happiness in Manhattan.
So what'd you think of some 20-somethings figuring out their careers?
This was the exact same cast makeup of the show Adults on FX, which someone pointed out. And I know that happens where like similar content will get greenlit at the same time. In this case, I thought it was pretty solid. We have a finance bro. We have a med student who wants to be an actor. We have this Nepo baby journalist. We have an aspiring stylist. We have an aspiring finance associate. So I like that we have a mix of careers. And I think that this crew is charming together. But it was like just a solid friend show.
I agree. I think they have a good strength in the friendships and that everyone is connected nicely. It's not just these are 5 friends trying to make it. They have separate relationships that have all overlapped in some interesting ways.
And we have some possible love triangles. So the finance guy, Davis, played by Will Angus, he is a love-obsessed person. He and Josh, the Nepo baby journalist, played by Jack Martin, they might have something going on with AJ, played by Ella Hunt. Her roommate, Abby, played by Avantika Vandanapu, she might have something going with the actor med student Kel, played by Nicholas Duvernay, but also with her celebrity client.
Yeah, and we both don't want but see the possibility of AJ having relationships with someone else at work.
That's true. Before we get to that, I would say this show felt a bit uneven. There was fun. There are some solid threads of juice, like this possible love story that you're talking about, or this attraction story. I don't want to call it a love story because I don't want them to fall in love. But it felt a bit uneven. There were parts where it dragged, and I didn't understand why it was over 40 minutes. This is a 25-minute sitcom.
This would be great as a short sitcom. It was too long. I think this could have replaced like New Girl in that type of time slot and style of Friends, because we have 2 sets of roommates, and I think that that's a good setup. Even with Big Bang Theory, roommates across the hall, great setup for this type of show. But they dragged it out. But I will say the story was easy to follow. Everyone's storyline, very clear.
I mean, they had 40 minutes to share a very simple story setup and, to your point, make sure that it felt right that everyone was interconnected versus like, why do I care about the relationships between these people? I just don't know that they needed the full runtime to do that. And I think that could have helped it be funnier to trim a little bit of the fat. Standouts for me, though, were all the bosses. And maybe this is like a generational thing. Maybe I'm a little bit closer to the boss age now than the age of the 20-somethings. But Constance Wu as the stylist boss cracked me up. Jay Ellis as the finance bro boss that AJ got in a fight with cracked me up. I reject the idea of them having some kind of romance in the future. And I really cracked up at this speech by Judy Gold, who is the Nepo baby's boss, about how she will do whatever she can to outlive him to make sure that she stunts his career.
Good luck. Nepos are hard to take down.
Yeah, it's quite a mission. So with that, do you want to watch more Not Suitable for Work on Hulu?
I think this cast of characters is lovable. They have some charm. And so I would watch again casually to give it some more time. I think once they settle into everyone's storyline and how they're connected, it'll pick up the pace and feel better. How do you feel?
Okay, I am a comedy person, ensemble comedy person. As you know, friendship is one of my favorite subjects. In this one, I felt it was a bit lacking. So I think for Friendship Hive, I'll maybe give it or recommend like a couple more episodes to see if it picks up. This is good timing that it's in summer, so it's a little less competitive with other shows coming out, but it just didn't quite grab me. I don't know that I can confidently say I would watch it again seriously.
And we appreciate that honesty.
Anytime. That is my service.
Can you also provide the service of explaining what's happening around the world?
You're talking about Best of the World with Antoni Porowski on National Geographic. Antoni searches for the world's most unforgettable travel experiences. In this first episode, we start with Mexico City.
Samitu, have you ever looked at National Geographic's Best of the World list? Did you know it existed before this show?
This show felt like when you, which I do this all the time, I'm currently doing this for a trip I have coming up, Google things like 3 days in Mexico City, where should I eat and what should I see? And then you scroll like little listicles, blogs, Reddit threads where people are like, you have to try this place, this place, this place. And they'll have itineraries.
Yeah, people have done this. This does feel like Antoni is our charming travel planner who, instead of giving us a printed itinerary, is showing us a video of all the things we could do.
And that's ultimately my critique of the show, because he's so charming. He has chemistry with every single person and being that he connects with. He genuinely made me laugh when he shouted, "Choose kindness" at a wrestling event. But I think overall, the show lacks a point of view. Like, I think it almost would have been better served as like social media videos, like travel videos, where the focus is, like you said, let's highlight this list. But instead, it just had me thinking about some food travel shows we've seen recently, like High on the Hog, which I know I've talked about so much on this program, Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, Salt, Acid, Fat, Heat, even like non-chefs, Tony Shalhoub, he did a bread show on CNN where he just went to different places and tried bread. Stanley Tucci did one on Italy. These all have points of view. Like, this is a political, cultural, food, just thing I like. And there's that through line. This did not have a through line, so I felt like I was just watching something that felt so disconnected.
I agree. It needed that point of view. And I think the lack of the through line is that we're just going to different spots on the list, but the list isn't necessarily a cohesive trip.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would have been fine if when Antoni reached out to a friend he hadn't seen in a long time, they just lied and said, my friend took me to all of these cool places. Like, have a reason for him to go besides National Geographic decided my itinerary.
Yes, it just felt like Antoni making the best of a more discombobulated experience where he's charming, he's trying to establish little jokes and through lines here and there, but it's missing from the overall structure. I saw that there was another show that he did with National Geographic that seems to have come out at the same time, where he's interviewing celebrities about their hometowns and hometown eats. I think maybe we should have watched that one.
Ooh,
but I
preview
think
your
that,
rating.
that has like a clear point of view that I think is missing here. But on a positive note, everything looked great. Like, I did look at this show and think, when I get to Mexico City, I have to check out this restaurant. I want to see this corn. I want to try that tortilla. Like, I did get excited by what I saw.
That is the tough part about it, because there was no cohesive story. Antoni was kind of dropped into different locations. But if you can get past that, everything looked beautiful, and I understand why they made it to a best of the world list.
Yeah. With that, do you want to watch more episodes of Best of the World?
You know, I think I might watch this while folding laundry. I do feel inspired to look up National Geographic's Best of the World list and pick and choose for myself. How do you feel?
High key, I feel the same way, where I was like, man, I just need to look up this list. And I would say for Travel Show Hive, all the shows I mentioned, I think I would recommend more. I want to check out this Antoni and high profile people, celebrities having their favorite meals or welcoming them to their hometowns. For this show specifically, I think I would watch the cities that I'm interested in visiting. Like Mexico City being the pilot worked out very well for me. That is a place I've wanted to visit for a while. It's been on my list. So I feel like I get to add that many more restaurants and attractions to check out whenever I get over there.
Okay, a more targeted watch experience.
Yes. So why don't you take us from Mexico City to across the pond?
You're talking about Alice and Steve on Hulu. A 2.5 decades long friendship between Alice and Steve, played by Nicola Walker and Jermaine Clement, becomes strained when Steve starts dating Alice's daughter. So, me too. What did you think of this comedy?
I guess I'm laughing. Here's the thing. It was funny. It's charming. Alice at one point shouts in a bar with Steve, "We've known each other for 30 years," to anyone who would listen at the bar. They are so funny together. They have such a good zinger relationship. It reminded me of that Platonic show on Apple TV where it's like two people who are just meant to be together.
But
I had incredible difficulty suspending my disbelief around him and the daughter because if she's 26 and they've known each other for 30 years, then he probably met her while she was in utero. And even if he were not super involved with her growing up, it is hard for me to picture him not having seen her even in bits of moments here and there when he picks up Alice to go do fun things that he did not see her growing up. So that was weird to me. And I think the way they seemed to get around it is they tried to make Izzy, her daughter, played by Yali Topol Margalith, seem more mature. And then they made him seem a little lost and immature to kind of, I think, mentally have them meet in the middle.
I think they tried to use that to explain their chemistry. And I think they tried to place Izzy as more removed from her family unit since she has been living on her own and just came back home. And let's just be honest, the show kind of brushes past any creepy elements of what Steve and Izzy's relationship may or may not have been prior to this event.
We are about to review next Cape Fear on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Cape Fear before I watched this.
Okay.
I can honestly say that my body was just as tense. Like, when they started leaning toward each other on the couch, my chest got tight like Javier Bardem was coming after my family. Like, I got so scared. And then the foreshadowing. Alice and Steve at the bar, they're trying to cling to their youth. They're trying to brag to the people there that they're cool old people. They did make me laugh. The scene with the drugs and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Alice even telling Steve, "You need to date a younger woman." And the whole time, you're laughing, but then in the back of my mind, it felt like that recurring house alarm sound in Cape Fear.
It's building.
Whew.
I do think that that is part of the reaction that they're going for. They want it to be tense. They want it to be uncomfortable. They want us to be uncomfortable. And I think what is disappointing, so this is a slight negative, we don't see enough of Alice's side or point of view of this whole situation. And I think we needed that to make it more well-rounded.
I agree. The pacing to have the reveal, light spoiler, really be in like the last minute. So we don't get to see what happens after. There's a good buildup showing like she has this very loving, non-judgmental relationship with Steve. They seem to be very open with each other. She would do anything for him. I liked seeing her as a mom. It's clear she would do anything for her kids. There's a moment where they're like drunk in the kitchen and she sees her daughter and she immediately sobers up and is like, why are you home? Are you okay? Like, she became mom so fast, even in the midst of a very fun and silly night with her friend. So how that person reacts to her friend of 30 years, I think, is the making of an interesting show, like testing a friendship so deeply. And I agree, it would have been nice to get to see even a little bit of it before they fade to black.
So since we are missing that crucial piece of information and only have funny friendship and awkward relationships, will you keep watching more episodes of Alice and Steve on Hulu?
Yes, I have to know what happens. For Messy Hive, for Juicy Hive, it's so hard because you just have to suspend your disbelief at something that, y'all, when BJ and I were talking about this, I started to like dry heave. Like, I'm clutching my shirt. I just realized I just saw myself on the Zoom. Like, I feel physically tense. Like, I feel real discomfort around this. But I have to know how Alice reacts because she is such an interesting character. The mix between like friend, silly person, and mom who would do anything for her kids. And I'm curious to see how that lady handles Steve and Izzy.
I agree. I would watch again seriously to see Alice's reaction. I want to see what the future of this friendship can or will be or could be. There's a lot of lingering questions. I'm also very curious about Alice's husband, Daniel, played by Joel Fry, who we only get glimpses of. And I have concerns about his relationship with Alice and wonder how that plays into even the relationship with Izzy.
True. I really like that actor too, Joel Fry.
Oh, hope he gets more scenes.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you take us from one horror story to another?
You're talking about Cape Fear on Apple TV. Max Cady, played by Javier Bardem, is a vicious and unreformed ex-convict, and he's released from prison and sets about taking revenge on Tom and Anna Bowden, the married couple who represented him in court 17 years earlier. So, me too. What did you think of this law thriller?
So, it is very flashy. Tom and Anna are played by Patrick Wilson, Amy Adams. We have Javier Bardem. We have executive producing on this Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese, who were both part of the 1991 film. So this is fancy. With that said, that many fancy names, I was surprised at how campy it was.
The acting was not as dramatic as I expected.
Or it was even over dramatic. There's an opening scene that I don't even know if you can call it foreshadowing, where Tom and Amy are in their yard and he looks at the trees and he's like staring off into the distance and he's like, oh, we got to call the tree inspector. I mean, one bad storm and all of this could fall over. And then the next thing she says is, in her Southern accent, do you ever look around and wonder if we deserve all this? And he goes, no. And it's just like, okay, got it. Like, it is crystal what's happening here.
And I have to say the accent is what pulled this down a notch for me.
Fair.
I think it's a great production. I think it's shot beautifully. I think everyone has committed to their characters. And the story is compelling. But some of the accents really pull me out. And I'm like, Amy Adams, you don't sound like that.
That's when I had to just tell myself it's campy. And to me, I almost took it as relief, where in those scenes that were so ridiculous and so over the top, it helped relieve tension because Javier Bardem, like, we need to remember No Country for Old Men. That man plays a killer very well. This is a very different kind of killer, but it is still terrifying. The opening scene where he's talking to that person on the phone, I don't want to spoil too much. Terrifying. And every interaction with them, it's not a cat and mouse of all of these things start falling apart for Anna and Tom. And it's less of them wondering who done it and more him explicitly being like, yeah, it's me. I'm tearing your life apart. and I dare you to do something about it. And it's so intriguing because I think he has something on them because he says something to her that, like, clearly she's not going to call the police on this guy. And I think that is very juicy. But those over-the-top scenes helped for me to relieve some of the tension and the pressure.
That makes sense. That, I think, is needed to balance all of the creepiness. And like you were alluding to, there's a lot of complex layers to the story where there's a whole nother story 17 years ago that we don't know everything about that is motivating all of Mac's present day actions. And like you said, this is not cat and mouse. This is a cat who's already cornered that mouse and is just playing with them for fun.
100%. Not no Tom and Jerry. Like, this is not equal footing. This is not Jerry getting one over on Tom. They're in the corner and the cat is having fun. Javier Bardem visibly looks like he's having fun as the villain in this, which was fun to watch. Like, he was so good and over the top as this very scary character. But there are so many creepy things and scary things. Like, there's so much tension, but also there's literal violence. There's violence against people, animals. Their home alarm goes off a few times. That's not violent, but like the sound is very jarring. There's an AI thing.
And I think what makes it unnerving for me, with the premise, Max Cady is released from jail.
Yeah.
And everyone except Anna and Tom are like, isn't that great? He's actually innocent and should be free. And so it's so weird that he is getting support from everyone but these two people who are like, no.
Most closely involved in the case. You raised such a good point before we started recording that I will take from you now. CCH Pounder, as her partner in her legal defense organization, was so unbelievable as a character, being like, we need to have him speak at our gala. We need to get connected with this guy. And you see your colleague is pale, looks like she's about to vomit.
Right.
Like, she cannot handle the sight, sound, sense of this man. And you're like, oh my gosh, can't wait to have him around us all the time. What room are you not reading right now? Like, I just can't believe that the legend CCH Pounder would play like this.
It's such an unbelievable character because that character also knows Anna's history.
Yes.
Like, this isn't good. She put this man away.
But everyone is just so chill about him in a way that is unnerving.
And it's gonna bite them. Or already has.
Literally, yeah. It already has some of them.
Anyway, will you keep watching more of this creepy and scary show?
With love to the horror community, Cape Fear on Apple TV. For me, this is my stop. And not because of the quality of the show. I think the show is really good. I think especially Javier Bardem is a delicious villain. Me, I am a baby. And for my fellow babies, I don't think we can handle the amount of blood that managed to be in this episode. People harmed, people killed, animals killed. It's a bit much. And so this is my stop on the Cape Fear train. I wish them the best. I'll probably read it when it's all done, like how it comes out. And that's it. What about you?
I think that's a wise choice. I probably would watch again while cooking. I need to be distracted from some of the violence and blood and creepy, just being where you shouldn't be activities. But the story is really compelling. I do want to know what's going to happen to Anna and Tom and their family.
And I can't wait for you to tell me. And any of our listeners who email us, askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com, BJ will recap the show for us.
And if you know spoilers, just spoil it for us in an email.
That's true.
Don't spoil it for other people.
Yeah, we are not spoiler scared people.
We're immune to it. Share.
What city would you give a tour of?
Oh, give a tour of, or just like want to go to tourist destinations?
And then have a camera there and be like, look.
Oh, and the production team like pays for my food and travel.
Yes.
Then probably Seoul, Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the number one right now. If I can get a second spot, because Korea is kind of small, I'd also go to Jeju Island, get a little beach time in.
Yes. Are we going to do that when we go?
I think so. We control the itinerary.
You heard it here first, folks. BJ's taking me to Seoul. BJ's taking me to the beach.
Well, tentatively.
I look forward to it. All right, where can people find more episodes of the Pilot Podcast? I'm moving forward. I'm keeping the promise locked exactly where it is.
Okay, we'll just keep moving on. You can head to our website at thepilotpodcast.com and be sure to follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
You can also send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, your travel itineraries for Seoul and Jeju Island to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, and your Cape Fear spoilers. Thanks for listening.
Bye.